Hello, welcome to the video. I'm going to be testing Starfield on the RTX 4090 with the DLSS 3 update. I'm going to be doing it at 4K, so we've got here 3840 by 2160. I'm going to play with everything maxed out, so we've got ultra or high on the settings. I am first going to test out just 4K native, just to kind of see the rough performance. Should be a little bit of an update since we last played. Hopefully some better FPS. So you can see that here, upscaling is off, frame generation is off at first, and then we'll check it out with it on as well. So let's have a look. Right, so I'm going to have a look around New Atlantis. Usually one of the harder areas to run, or it was before at least, but it looks like we're getting a lot better frame rate after a couple of these patches than we were before. I remember dipping down here into like the 50s, maybe even 45 in some areas, and it seems like for the most part now we're sitting at 70 at least 70 FPS or above. We're even hitting 85 here. We'll have a little run around down here. We do maybe get some dips. Wonder if we get any dips under 70. Seem to get some of the low 70s, but we were definitely dipping down here below 50. So some big improvements there to performance. Power-wise, pretty similar, about 350. So it's pretty good for my 4090 at least. Either that or below. VRAM as well, about 8.5, so pretty similar to I think what we had before. Fairly low for this game really, overall for 4K. I know we've seen a lot of more Unreal Engine 5 games use about that same amount of VRAM. For 4K at least. I'll have a little run over here because I know we were getting some lower FPS over here, and even some GPU usage come down as well. Sitting for the most part at 98, but I am seeing some dips down to about 93% there. Back up to 98 again. So it does fluctuate a little bit around there. Seems kind of fairly similar for that, but our FPS is still pretty high. Even the stuttering as well. Notice the stuttering's pretty much gone. I see it chopping around a little bit in the frame time, but not really noticing any stuttering or anything. I'm seeing that CPU usage as well. It's round about the same. I think we were sitting mostly about 30 to 35%, so still in that range. A lot of power though. It's very, very CPU heavy for 4K this game. Normally used to seeing maybe at 10%, so it's like 3 times that basically. So I'm going to just have a little run around this planet and see what the performance is like here compared to New Atlantis. Seems like we're getting slightly higher frames on average, closer to 100 or just under 100. We'll keep it on that GPU usage. Seems like it's pretty much max, 98%. I wonder if we see any dips down to under 95 at all there. 95, just saw 95. So it doesn't kind of cap out. It seems to get some dips on that GPU usage. Not anything major, not into like 80% or anything, but see it dip under 95% sometimes. But it seems like we're probably going to be able to hold basically close to 100 FPS, which is decent. Power and stuff, VRAM. VRAM looks like it's actually slightly less on here, about a gig less than what we had on the on New Atlantis. Even in combat, seems to stay pretty good. And no stuttering at all either, which is good. That was probably one of my bigger complaints of the game initially when we first played, was just it was stuttering just so much. So we'll have a quick look in space as well. Seems like we're getting about 100 FPS, so we'll get a lot more frames here compared to in any of the cities or planets once we've actually landed on the planets. Overall, I think should be pretty, fine FPS for this, really. There are a couple of space battles, but I mean, we're hitting 100 FPS here, so that's no issue at all. Normally, I'm finding when I go first person, it does drop FPS a little bit, so you can see kind of just above 90. And then when I go back to third, pushes up almost 100, so lose about maybe 10 FPS there. Okay, so I'm now going to take a look with DLSS 3 on. So we're still at 4K here. We've got everything maxed out still, ultra or high. And then I've got DLSS upscaling set to quality here, and we've switched frame generation on as well. So it's looking like we're around about doubling our frames, 145, kind of 130 to 150-ish in that range. I know we ranged before between kind of in and around 65 to kind of 85 really. So maybe not quite double, but definitely a huge increase of frames. Obviously you can do 4K 144 Hertz monitor is going to be suitable for that. VRAM on the GPU's obviously gone up a little bit after switching frame generation on. Getting even higher frames here, 150. GPU power's down as well quite a bit, obviously because of DLSS, so we're down from about 350 to like 310. Yeah, it seems to hold up about 98% GPU usage here. It doesn't seem to fluctuate around quite as much as when we were native. Oh, there we go, 79% I just saw. And latency as well, I can't really feel any latency at all. Obviously, we're above 60 FPS without frame generation on, so you'll unlikely feel any latency there. So we'll have a little look around on this planet. Seems like we're probably going to be right at that level. 167, still hitting that, the kind of engine cap. I wonder if we can maybe unlock that in the files, potentially. I should imagine there's probably, or even a mod somewhere that'll do it. But I think probably definitely don't need to really max that out. I think 144 at 4K, I mean, it's pretty nice. Dipping down slightly, but still holding pretty much above 150. GPU power, I'd say, maybe is up slightly on this planet compared to same settings on New Atlantis. At about 320, 330 when we had about 310, 315 on New Atlantis. But it feels nice. Not feeling any latency or anything like that. Even shooting in this combat. And zero stuttering as well. I mean, I'm impressed at how they've managed to patch that out. It performs a lot better than when we first played. Night and day difference. Okay, so even in space here, we're getting very high frames, over 160. Couldn't imagine it'll fluctuate too much. In flying around in kind of space fights and stuff, you should hopefully keep pretty high frames. I think actually 167 is the max on this engine, I'm pretty sure we saw before. Which looks like it is. We're hitting that. So yeah. In space seems like you'd be pretty much capped out with these settings. With frame generation and stuff on. We don't even need to fully use the GPU to hit the max FPS. Okay, so I'm now just going to test out DLSS 3 without the upscaling, so we're just going to have frame generation on. I'm still at 4K with everything maxed, ultra or high, but you can see here we've switched off the upscaling and we've just got frame generation on. So we'll see what kind of FPS we get with that. Obviously you want to play with this setting if you don't really want the image, the quality of the image loss with the upscaling, so you can kind of leave that switched off and just add your inserted frames with frame generation. You should see some FPS improvement without sacrificing image quality, which we've got here. So we're from kind of 85, 90 FPS native to about 120. So I think probably anywhere between 110 and maybe 125. Even up to, I think, maybe 130. So quite a pretty big jump still of frame rate. Potentially kind of 30 FPS probably on average. Which is a nice boost of frames without degrading image quality at all. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time.